Oi! It's finally here, The Boys by Garth Ennis Hardcover Omnibus Volume 1. Today we're going to take a look at it. It has a 792 page count and the cover price of $99.99. Let's get into this omnibus. Before we start flipping through these pages for mature readers, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, get yourself entered in the giveaway, man. On the dust jacket cover here, you get issue 1 of The Boys. What a great issue to have on the cover. On the back, you get all the covers collected, which is great to see on this book, because The Boys have some great covers, man. Slipping the dust jacket off on the left-hand side, you have a little introduction, a little bit about The Boys, and it also says what's collected. Then you have a little background on the creators on the right-hand side. Great looking cover of the book here with the Boys logo and the blood splatter. Let's also check out the binding here. It is glued binding, so it's a little tight and you're going to want to definitely give it a nice stretch before you start getting into this thing. Just these white bookend pages here. I do like that it has the same little files that it had in the paperback omnibuses, but they changed it to like the hardcover. For what I can tell, it's the same thing that was collected in those books. It has all the creators, and then it has the contents of the book, and it also lists like all the bonus materials that are collected in this book as well. So this book does have the covers before each issue, which is very nice, but really it's broken into story arcs throughout the whole book. So you'll get name of the game, Cheery, get some glorious 5-year plan, good for the soul, I'll tell you no lie GI, we gotta go now, and rodeo fuck. And one thing just to point out real quick is the book is very glossy, and if you're taking it off the shelf, just be very careful, because I just went to go grab it normally like I do a book, and it slid right out of the dust jacket to the floor, and I crumpled the dust jacket a little bit. So just be careful, because it's just highly glossy, man, and definitely, it's no fun dropping books. Now for this volume, I'm going to do my best to be spoiler free about everything that goes on. As it goes on with volume 2 and 3 that are coming out, I'll probably get a little bit more deeper involved in the story and whatnot. And I'll point out some of the differences I noticed between the comics and the show on Amazon Prime. So this book starts out, you're introduced first to Billy Butcher, you see him with his dog Terror, and then shortly after you're introduced to Hughie Campbell, who is soon to be the newest member of the Boys. He's kind of like hanging out with his girlfriend Robin, and then all of a sudden A-Train and another Supe get in some battle, and she's like smashed up against the wall, leaving Hughie there with her arms in his hands. Now, before I get into who the Boys are, it's better to know who the 7 are and the supes that are in this. So in this world, there are superheroes running rampant, getting involved in orgies, like as you see there. And there's a company called Vought American that is like this big corporation that really makes like comics and movies and things involved with these superheroes. Now, Compound V is what makes these people superheroes or supes. It was created by this dude Vogelbaum back in like the Nazi Germany days. He was a scientist. He created this like compound or whatever that turns people into superheroes. Now in the past, American Vought has kind of been like Halliburton, and then they do like weapons contracting and selling weapons to use in our military or equipment just in general. At some point they got their hands on the Compound V, and that's where they started creating these superhuman people to use in wars of the future. So there's a character down the line that'll get introduced named Stillwell. He's in charge of supe development. He plays a huge role in all of this, and he is like the big player at American Vought and is really the one that kind of controls all of this stuff on when it goes to what they're doing as a corporation and how they're involved in politics. Now, one of the biggest ways that Vought American makes money is they have this group called the 7. Now, the 7 is made up of all of these like top tier superheroes. You have the Homelander, you have Queen Maeve, you have Jack from Jupiter, the Deep, A-Train, who killed Hughie Campbell's girlfriend in the beginning, Black Noir, and then they end up getting a new member, Starlight, who comes from the Young Americans, which is another group of superheroes. See, throughout this world, there's a bunch of different groups of superheroes, and not really any villains, because if you're backed by corporations, you're getting paid big money, and there's really no need to be a villain when you're getting all of this income. That leads to really what the Boys are all about. All these superhero groups are being just involved in these horrible situations. They're killing people, they're raping people, doing all sorts of fucked up things, but the corporations are backing them, so they're covering up all of this stuff that goes down. That's what cues in the Boys. So the Boys is made up of Billy Butcher, you got MM, Mother's Milk, Frenchie, and the Female. Now, all of these characters have had some sort of horrible atrocity happen in their lives that have been related to a soup incident or has some kind of connection to Vault American. So they collect intel on the supes and sometimes, occasionally get their hands dirty, giving these superheroes an extreme beatdown. So yeah, all of these books do contain some pretty mature content, some extreme dialogue. It may be offensive to some people, definitely some very brutal artwork throughout it, with just, as you see Billy Butcher there, just covered in soup guts and blood and all that. A lot of sexuality, there's some rape scenes. So if you're, kind of soft to that type of thing, then these books may not be for you. But I highly recommend it, man. I absolutely love this. This is my second read through. I've gone through this book now, and man, I'm absolutely loving every second of it. I'm picking up on things that I kind of forgot about in the past. Like one of them is, Billy Butcher injects Hughie Campbell with some Compound V, like very early on. They're all taking Compound V. Could have sworn that happened later in the books, but it actually starts pretty much from the jump. So Billy Butcher ends up finding Hughie Campbell because of the information about his girlfriend being killed, and he kind of like tricks him into joining the boys, kind of. So he's like the new member, and that's really what this book has. It's mainly the new members. So you get Hughie Campbell joining the boys, and then you get Starlight joining the Seven. Now Starlight is made to do some very terrible things involving a couple members of the Seven, which she regrets because she's not one of these types of soups. She's a good person. All the members of the Seven are all absolute pieces of shit, but she's a good person. But because of that, she ends up like meeting Hughie Campbell in a park, and they end up like starting a little bit of a relationship, which is kind of an ongoing thing throughout these books, is the fact that Hughie is part of the boys and she is part of the Seven, and they have absolutely no idea that each of them is like part of these separate groups, which I'm sure if you've seen the show before, you see all that stuff going down. Now, something that I'm a fan of with the boys issues is that you have the main story going on with the boys and the Seven and American Vault and all that, but you also get like these cool little side stories that happen throughout the book too that also, involve in the bigger picture, but they're also just cool little kind of side stories going on. You get one earlier in the book where Hughie is investigating this gay man's death with these characters Swing Wing and Tech Knight, who are supes. And then you get they go to Russia, where they meet this character Voss, the love sausage, who is also in the Boys television show, which is great. And then it kind of ends in here with the G-Men and these children that are being kidnapped and turned into supes, and this girl Silver Kincaid's suicide. So Volume 1 is a great start to the saga of the boys here. You get lots of twists and turns coming up. The next volume, you're going to get Herogasm, which is off the charts crazy, man. And it just starts getting real heavy and just... it's such a superb story. It gets a lot of hate, and I don't know why. I think people are just real soft, to be honest with you, but that's just me. But the bonus features are great in the back here. You get covers, you get scripts, you get some sketch work, some interviews, all kinds of stuff, man. Really glad that Dynamite Comics reprinted these books. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments, and as always, thank you for watching. When we hit 1,000 subscribers, we are giving away Thor by Walter Simonson Omnibus and a mystery slab. All you got to do to get yourself entered in the giveaway is be subscribed to the channel, like and comment on a video where I mentioned this giveaway. When we hit 1,000 subs, I'll use a random comment generator to announce the winner. Good luck!